Okay, Bree, give me the update because you just ran out and.
So the first time I ran out, he needed his flash drive, and I told him, "Oh, it's in your binder in the little pocket." And he's like, "Okay," click, hangs up on me. Then he calls back, and he's like, "Mom, what? The flash drive doesn't fit in the iPad."
Now, see, that's really interesting to me.
Yeah.
That's
like an Apple thing,
that's
right?
My thing, yeah.
But
Apple
there's
racist.
there's no
C, you got USB Type B, you got Lightning port, you got.
Apple is
I feel so bad. I'm like, oh, check your other little computer thingy.
So you got him a Samsung flash drive with an Apple iPad.
No, this is the one he's had. Wait, so they make flash drives for iPad?
We gotta call.
Bree, let me tell you, Apple only does Apple. That just like only Apple sees another like, no, I'm not interested in you, Samsung. I'm only doing Apple.
I'm gonna call Child Protective Services just for that.
Right? Yeah.
I didn't know. Okay, so screw you guys.
You think you know somebody, man, and you're giving your boy a Samsung flash drive, dude? That's wow. We're gonna have to distance a little more. Poor kid, man.
Oh
tell you.
my gosh, I love you, baby.
And of course, all his classmates are seeing.
I mean, imagine all the kids at school. They're like St. Anthony, like, oh my God, he's got a Samsung flash drive. Oh.
I didn't say it was. I don't know what kind of. It's a flash drive. It's a flash drive. You get a flash drive. Here you go.
Ooh, wow.
I didn't know.
Okay. All right. 9:20. Hey, it's real, dude. People are juggling this whole online, freaking remote, whatever, home stuff. My 7-year-old yesterday. So we got the three, and my boy chatting was, Callie just loves it. I mean, she's been asking to go back to school ever since. My boy Chase was like, this is lame. There's always one. Mm-hmm. So, good, happy second day of school, boy. At 9:21. Let's go over to the KUAM News Zoom room where we have from the Guam Legislature. I tell you, man, Samsung flash drive. Some things you just don't cut corners on, Bree.
It didn't dawn on me that the flash drive didn't.
It's okay. Just think about that old saying, square. What is it? What is it, Phil? Square hole, circle peg, or?
Square peg, circle hole, I think is what it is. But if I could be solution oriented for a second before we move on to official business, Bree, I found that Google Drive is a pretty good savior and is cross-platform in case you have devices that don't take USB-A or USB-C.
Thank you, Phil.
Yep. I didn't even know there was
because
an A, B, or C.
Yeah, right now, Phil, we are USB-C because we're very busy. Rex never ready. Thank you.
Oh my goodness! If my parents are watching, if my mom or my brother, he needs a laptop.
Yeah, just basically think of it
a
like
regular
that,
one.
like that, Bree. You're trying to put a square into a circle, and it's just not.
I get it, dude. I get it. I totally get it. I'm dumb.
I'm
okay,
not judging
I get
you.
it.
No, you're not dumb. You're just not.
I'm more concentrated on figuring out what we're doing here with maintaining and containing, COVID on Guam.
Right on. Well, now we know Google Drive. Thank you, Phil.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I just learned Google.
It's what senators use.
Yeah, I just learned Google Meets and Google Classroom yesterday, and that was pretty interesting.
And now you need to go Google Flash Drive to figure it out.
Yeah.
All right, Phil. So we got you on here. People wondering, right? So we had was it one positive case at the legislature, and they shut the Guam Congress hall down. So where are we since then?
Yesterday we completed our first round of testing. Really do want to thank the Department of Public Health and Social Services for their assistance. And we're setting up another round for those who weren't able to schedule their own appointments or weren't able to complete their testing yesterday. So our first round of testing is completed. We're also continuing to help with the contact tracing for the initial case. Submitted our entrance logs to the Guam Congress building to help with that effort. And we were told that results could have started to come in from the public health round of testing as early as late last night. But I haven't heard anyone getting results. And as you guys have mentioned on your program, sometimes that can be a good sign that they're not contacting you right away. Because if you're stuck in the backlog, chances are it's because you have one of the many negative results versus one of the few positive results.
How many were tested in the first round?
I don't have specific numbers yet, but I had a conversation with the executive director who seemed very confident that we knocked out a large portion of potentially affected, potentially exposed employees as of yesterday.
Okay. And then, so you said the second round is scheduled for today. Do you have an idea?
The second round, we don't have a date set yet.
Oh.
I think we're probably coordinating with the employees who weren't able to get tested to figure out what's most convenient. So we're not doing multiple rounds and tying up the healthcare system that way.
Right. And so is the testing, is this kind of like the first part where let's see where we're at with the results and then figure out session and all the other things? Because you're not really, I mean, for all intents and purposes, not going to know who you got until you know who you got.
I think that the reopening plan is going to be dependent on a lot of things, including the results of this large scale testing for our branch. But that doesn't mean that the productivity is ended. I mean, speaking personally for our office, we did work over the weekend on budgetary matters. I know that the Office of Finance and Budget and our legal bureau was working over the weekend as well to help settle what's going to happen this morning. The Committee on Appropriations will begin virtual committee meetings, and the budget bill will be discussed during that. I think what's actually a good benefit to the transparency and accountability of this exercise that we're doing during this sort of unprecedented time is while we're going to have productive discussions in a virtual setting, the only changes that will actually be made to the bill is changes that are ratified when we go back into formal session. So that's sort of the accountability piece for the people of Guam to know that the actions that are being taken by our legislators are all above board. But that doesn't mean that we're going to be waiting until we can reconvene physically. And I'm going to stop being productive in the meantime. And that's why we're starting our committee meetings this morning.
And this has to be passed by the 31st? Is that right? The budget?
By the end of the month, yes.
Okay. Right. And all you guys are going to do when you go in is just vote down the line with all the different.
I mean, that's the best case scenario as far as how this exercise can play out. So if we take the time during these committee meetings to build a consensus, to agree on what amendments are going to pass, to agree on what amendments don't have 8 votes to pass, it can be as simple as reconvening in physical session, producing an amendment, and then voting on it, and then moving on to the next amendment that would receive its vote. So I do think that that's one of the ways that we can be the most productive during this time where we're not physically in session.
These budget virtual hearings, that's all they are. They're hearings. They're not considered session, right? So
they're virtual committee meetings.
Okay.
Our standing rules that allowed for virtual hearings and meetings to take place didn't include session. So if there's one thing that can't happen virtually, at least as of today, it's a virtual legislative session.
What about in these committee meetings, are we going to see representatives from the administration, like BBMR, DOA, participating?
In many ways, it's going to resemble the committee of the whole, where we can bring in subject matter experts. If we've come to a portion of the budget that focuses on one specific line agency, we'll be able to bring them in and ask them to participate and get their feedback to help inform the decisions that are being weighed by our lawmakers.
I wanted to go back to the Congress building and the sanitization and the disinfecting. Is that all taking place?
Sanitization was complete top to bottom on the building Friday morning. And the only, what I was informed of is there were only 1 or 2 employees that have been in the building since then, but that was just to our central office managers to retrieve necessary paperwork to continue operations remotely. But since then, only 1 or 2 people, on a limited basis, has gone into the building since it's been sanitized.
In the first round of testing, did that include all of the senators?
I believe all the senators either were able to make their own arrangements over the weekend or participated in our first round of testing. And what public health decided to do, which I think was really great to help try and get us back on board as soon as possible, is they utilize their rapid tests yesterday, and I'm not sure exactly what the comparison is on when those results will be ready versus the non-rapid tests, but I certainly did appreciate trying to get my own personal peace of mind getting that rapid test yesterday.
Right. Yeah. So the rapid, I believe, is 15 minutes, and then the regular test can be 24 to 72 hours depending on the backlog. Phil, I wanted to ask, it's got non-budget, but we had Mayor Hoffman on primary election. We know there was an effort earlier to, move the primary, cancel the primary, whatever. Do you know, just ear to the ground, is there any such effort underway now? Is anyone trying to introduce something, or have you heard anything?
Personally, I haven't heard an effort to delay the primary election. I think Maria Pangilinan has been very clear every time she's been interviewed on this that there are specific federal laws that have to be met. And I would caution anyone who is thinking about changing the scheduling of our elections to research that issue very carefully, because we could get into some very serious constitutional trouble if we're not abiding by the mandates in federal law as far as conduct of elections.
Okay.
Other than that, how you holding up, Phil?
Man, I'm actually really glad if there is a silver lining to this whole exercise of me being at risk and me needing to be tested. I finally got tested for the first time yesterday. I was very anxious and kind of scared about it because, as we were joking in my office, I'm kind of a panty for pain. So the fact that the nurse was able to be very gentle, I very much appreciated it. And now if I'm ever finding myself at this juncture down the road during this pandemic, that's just one thing that I know is going to be off of my shoulders is I know that I can get tested and it's not going to be of a deal.
Yeah, we're going to play our video coming on again, but I like that. So you told her to be gentle. Were you like, hey, dim the lights and put on some R. Kelly?
I asked her to go slow, and thankfully she took her time.
All right, thanks,
I like it when she takes her time. Okay, that's it. Sorry, guys. I'm here till 10. Thank you.
Hey, there's kids watching this program.
Oh, well, we already went off that, bro.
Right.
Thanks, Phil.
Thank you, everyone.
There you go. You got a new nickname, the Panty of Pain. All right. Thanks, Phil. Wash your hands. Dun, dun, dun. The Panty of Pain. All right. Hey.
Okay.
You ready, Bree, to get
Yes, let's
serious?
move in. Let's move into
let's
D2020.
We're going to take a short break. We're coming back with KUM News' Decision 2020.